Hello everyone, Dan 14 Prime here. Want to do another video share out today with you guys on the new addition to the Primepire. This is the XM Studios Transformers Grimlock. Absolutely massive piece. Consistent theme with what we've seen from the line thus far. A sort of contemporary G1 design done in 1/10 scale in an alt mode proximity piece. I will say right off the bat, this Grimlock is shockingly massive. Dimensions of what you see right there in front of you, he goes about 31 inches tall to kind of the claws off the back of his wings. This pose, which is probably about as compact as you can get him, will get you about 31 inches wide. And then you're also about 32 inches deep with this configuration to catch the front of that sword. A swap out I'll show you later probably makes him a little less deep, but much wider. But even dimensions aside, this guy comes in 2 boxes that weighed over 70 pounds each. 3 trays, and these are all big, chunky parts, not trays of small parts. Everything in that box was huge. Check out my Instagram, same handle, Dan14 Prime. As always, I put my unboxings out there in my story. I save them down into my profile for reference, and you can see all the unboxing there. There's an edition size of $3.99 on this guy. I've got number 141. Retails for about $2,000, probably plus or minus a couple $100, just depending on when you bought it and from where. And for me, it was about $400 to ship them in. But I will say, for as much as you get here with Grimlock, you think he would be like 50% or twice as much as more as like Optimus or someone, because there's just that much more Grimlock. Just massive. So I'm not going to mess around too much today, guys. Just going to jump in and start freehanding and show you around this thing. The chest is beautiful. It's so awesome. Love the Autobot logo. Again, all the classic G1 callbacks in terms of color and sort of robot design parts you'll see are here. He's got a very cocked head, almost profile from the side. He does have LED light ups, which are on at the moment. They show up pretty well, I think. I'm blasting a lot of light right now, but you still see them. I think they turned his head probably a little bit too far. It's really very much profile. I'd like to display him like this so I can see all of this, which is awesome. But they really kind of shoot for like a display where if you wanted to get his head, you'd be like that, which is cool. You can display this guy from a number of angles, I think, and it would be cool. Move him around, get a different experience. But, you know, I want to see more of this, which means probably his head, something more like that would be better. I don't know why this is keyed so fixed for this position. No reason why they shouldn't have had like a universal key where you could sort of just move the head how you like. Probably my only complaint with the sculpt on this piece. As you can see here, they go for like what I call dirty paint job. A lot of wear, scratching, scuffing. You can see he's heavily panel lined. And they've varied that across some of the pieces. I think the more lighter colors you have, the more they'll use this panel line. And because this guy's got silver and yellow, there's a lot of panel lining. Basically, the whole figure is. So you notice that up close, it's fine. I think Starscream had a lot of panel lines, Optimus a bit less, but you will notice that in the paint app, where they're just in every single one of these crevices, which I think you have to do to make that sculpt pop. Otherwise, across all this silver, it might not do it. Because otherwise they don't shade too much. They keep things clean and then just panel line. So you'll see, when you get up close, you definitely see the hand-painted aspects of that. And there's some variation here and there. Some imperfections, but for a piece, this big, appreciate the handmade nature of some of these things. And also just the messiness, you kind of forget it. But you can just check all this out. Lots of great wear. Again, here, things like this, it's like, the defect, should I be complaining about that? Or is that it's just part of the wear effect, It's probably a little bit damaged, honestly, but I'm not going to mess with it. It kind of fits in, I think, with the overall theme. These legs are absolutely massive. Again, check out the Instagram video to see the assembly. Some smaller pieces, smaller being like, this 5-inch piece right here. You kind of clip onto the legs and stuff. This little piece here, just for some of these accents. But for the most part, like I said, just big chunky pieces to get this guy together. The wings around back here, super cool. Great accents to Grimlock there. You can see like the head is back there. This base is massive. It's actually not as heavy as I would have thought compared to Grimlock. The base is super wide, like I mentioned, but not too bad to move. And it's got some of the stuff we've seen before, kind of these jet parts, secret parts, sort of wrecked, crashed into a base. We saw some of that with Optimus. So they use some of that as well as like the rock theme, stuff like that. Back at the legs here. They're getting some of the front end lights, but it's not distracting too much. Some cool pumps here. Again, just lots of great. These guys so big you can kind of paint like giant chunks of detail. Red accents, and again on the paint, I noticed sometimes they're outside the lines with the red, so it's not impeccable, but it's so big, and again, sort of like roughed out paint application, worn out. But you don't mind it too much. If I can get down here, really super difficult to see and get light in there, but you can see like Grimlock's got his teeth even a little bit back there, so that's going to be really difficult to show you because it's almost lapped behind his back and underneath that giant head. But just to give you a sense for the level of detail that they did go to the trouble to sculpt in here. You can see his eye, obviously, right there. Spikes on his head and stuff. So again, all those key features for the alt mode are here. I think the wings are fantastic. And here he's got this leg slightly up. As you can see, he's more or less all Grimlock. This leg is basically to the floor, save for probably a couple inch elevation off a base. This one's got a bend in it, but more or less that 31 inches I mentioned, all Grimlock. And then here, just couldn't make them all the way around that side. And again, potential imperfections with the paint. Like here, it looks like a panel line brush sort of just got outside and whacked up that little area, but I'm not going to complain about that degree of perfection or imperfection, if you will. I think replacing parts for this guy would be freaking impossible, or a giant hassle, and again, kind of blends into the wear theme. So you see that with some of the paint all the way across, you know. You can see some brush strokes and stuff, but it's rough, it's huge. You step back even just a foot, you know, where I am right now at the camera, you don't see any of that stuff, but just some of the stuff I notice up close in a fine detailed inspection. Here's his sword, freaking huge. That's a little bit of tour around Grimlock. Again, just massive. Dig the sculpt. All the right details are there, all the call marks, if you will. And I'm down with the paint. I think it's cool. Here's his alt mode. I always thought it was the weak aspect of the piece. Still kind of do, but I will say it's better than I expected or than I thought. You know, it's smaller than I'd like, but you know, Grimlock, the figure itself is so massive, I guess it's hard to complain. But compared to like the Optimus alt mode, which was quite large, this I thought should have been bigger. And it's much more contemporary, I would say. I would like some more G1 flavor to kind of be hitting me. But it feels a bit more stylized, definitely. So I just thought it was all right. But in hand, I do like it more than I thought I would from the pics, other videos I had seen, etc. So it's pretty cool. So let me show you the swap out with this guy. You basically get 2 extra arms and something extra to put in each hand. So there's that right arm out, hand out. Hands are sometimes kind of tough. And we'll go ahead and put this shotgun arm in. All these parts are really just secured with giant rods. There's not a lot of magnet stuff going on here. Probably everything's too big and heavy. And we'll put the shotgun in the left hand there. And with the shotgun here, we've greatly expanded the width. So you can see, you're talking probably with this look here, 42 inches wide if you want to grab, you know, the end of that shotgun for what it's worth. You needed to have that in a case, 42 inches wide. Next up here we go for the left hand and arm. I definitely do not love these hand pegs. I think they're super tight, the keys are awkward. But just look at the size of that sword, man, that's like lethal weapon. And there we get the left arm out. And we'll put in the other arm that holds the mace. We've got a mace holding hand. and this two-part mace, the end of which is friggin' as big as my hand and heavy. So there's been concerns around that, maybe bending over time. Rightfully so, like I said, it is freaking heavy. Don't know why they made it that way. But who knows? This could be like super sturdy in here. You never know. But I get why people would be concerned. And way out here to this shotgun. Check that out. Again, you kind of get the classic elements, like the shotgun and the sword. Classic Grimlock, right? And then this mace thing, yeah, I don't know, feels a little bit movie inspired maybe, but still fits the deco and what we know Grimlock does sometimes bring as a weapon, so I don't mind it, but I definitely prefer the sword in that hand. And then the shotgun's cool, it's just the 42-inch wide thing that becomes a problem. There you have it, guys. Probably keep it as short and sweet as that. Just sort of a share out, let you see around the guy, show some of the swap outs. Really happy with this piece. Not looking forward to moving him off of this table into the display room, because you definitely can't do that in one lift. He's going to need to be taken back apart a little bit and rebuilt. He's just that big and heavy, but that's why he's so impressive. You know, if you've been looking at some of these XM Transformer pieces, I'd say, you know, from what we've seen thus far, they've all been pretty good. I'm trying to collect the line. I still got to backfill a couple pieces I've got my eye on. Just waiting on shipping prices to maybe help that be a little bit more reasonable. But if you're looking to just grab a few, this guy should definitely be on your radar, assuming you can afford the space, because he is massive. But definitely happy to have him into the Prime Pyre. Again, check out the Instagram, same handle, Dan14 Prime. All the unboxing, lots of details, reveals in terms of what that's all about, which was definitely fun with a piece this big and with such big parts coming out of the box. So check that out on my Instagram, same handle, Dan14 Prime. More frequently sharing just all my collection stuff there. But still happy to do a short share out here on YouTube. Let you get more of a video feel for it and an overall walk around. So hope it was helpful, and I will see you next time.